My name is John Gazak. I'm a pediatric urologist from Charlotte, North Carolina, and I am presently in Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia, on the 2004 IVU trip for pediatric urology to the country of Mongolia.
My name is Elisa McBride. I'm the program manager for IVU, and I was the trip secretary for this trip to Mongolia.
My name is Patty Atherton. I'm an RN. I'm also a nurse practitioner. I've been a nurse for 12 years.
My name is Dr. Hip Nguyen. Everybody calls me Dr. Bob. I'm an assistant professor in urology and pediatric from the University of California, San Francisco Medical Center.
My name is Jean Wichman. I'm a registered nurse. I work at Children's Hospital in Seattle, Washington. I've been working as a registered nurse for 14 years.
My name is Joe Kreutz. I'm a pediatric anesthesiologist at the University of Vermont in Burlington, Vermont.
My name is Barbara Montanino, and I am from Houston, Texas Children's Hospital.
My name is Michael Atherton. I'm an anesthesiologist, and I live in Albuquerque, New Mexico. This is my first trip abroad for IVU, International Volunteers in Urology.
We had a child who was 11-month-old who presents with a very large abdominal mass. We had very limited information on the child because here the parents are responsible for paying for tests such as CT scan, blood tests, etc., things that people from the country could not afford to have. Oh my God. That's big. Sean, look at this. This is the tumor. Here's the colon. I have to somehow get this colon off. It's a good lesson because you realize that you're not invincible and that you can't. There's only a certain amount of things you can do, and it teaches you a lot of humility, especially knowing, that how much you have depended upon all the technology that you have available in at home, but never here. I'm going to have to take the colon.
This one is okay.
The sad thing is that if this child had been seen in the States, of course, we would have probably made a biopsy, treated this child with some type of chemotherapy or radiation, and very likely been able to save the child's life.
So, hard part to go back to the parents and say, I'm sorry, there was nothing we could do. This was his fourth son. But you could see it in the dad's eye, that it really impacted him a lot, knowing that he's going to lose his son.
This is my first experience on an IVU trip, and I must say it met every one of my expectations and beyond. I didn't really know what to expect when I first signed up for the trip, but from what I'd heard from other folks who had participated, I expected a challenge, excitement, adventure, lots of hard work, but also a very rewarding experience.
The other part of International Volunteers in Urology that I find particularly friendly for me is that it is also an organization which is really built around the notion of teaching the native physicians how to deal with the problem, so that we hope that after a few visits to a site, we are able to educate the local physicians enough that they can take care of their own children, and then IVU can move on to another underprivileged site in the world. Now, the other thing you could do is you could do a flip-flap. But I would worry a little bit about taking the skin. Yes. Or you could do, if you wanted to, take more from one side than the other. But I think this is going to be the best for him.
And how about,
Obviously, working to accomplish what we've done within an environment where the language barrier is great has been a significant challenge, although that's been well overcome with our interpreter. And in addition, working with relatively minimal equipment and yet providing a degree of safety and a quality of service that we've been able to attain has required quite a bit of thought and innovation.